Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio. Amberly Lago is with us, a world-renowned speaker on grit, resilience, and human connection. Welcome.
So good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And we're going to celebrate today. I don't know about this one, though, because it's National Rubber Ducky Day. Although, you know something, rubber duck, what is the concept of the rubber ducky? And I'm just going to go off on my own tangent here because I can, and I generally do. Rubber ducky, is it like a sense of soothing nature, feel good a little bit? I think right now there's a lot of people in Southern California that need something a little soothing, need a little bit of feel good. A lot of people suffering, a lot of people scared. So grab the rubber ducky and have a good time. Today is also for those of us that have beaten anorexia. Today is National Peach Melba Day. Peach Melba. It's a dessert. It's peaches, vanilla ice cream, raspberry sauce. How could you go wrong? That looks pretty good. I don't think it's even peach season though, is it? Or is it a little early for peaches? I don't know. But if I can find it, I'll go and indulge. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. Do we want to see what the markets are doing today? The Dow Jones Industrial Average looks like it up 52 points. Is that what that's telling me? 52. I have a feeling that this is old data, but we're going to look at it. Dow Jones up 57 points. The S&P 500 is down 42. NASDAQ down 282. Oil up $2.39 a gallon.
Ow!
$2.39 a gallon. Well, something I think what's going to end up happening, it's probably going to go up even more than that. Although we do have 1 week until sanity might take over. We'll see if that happens. $4.39 is the cost of a gallon of gasoline here in the formerly Golden State. $4.39. I don't even want to look at this, but I did. So I guess I can't. Have you ever heard the saying that you can't unsee something? And, I look and see California, what we were at, $4.39 a gallon. And then I looked at Amberly's there in Texas, and it says $2.69 a gallon is the statewide average. $2.69. And Josh is over there at $3.62. Now, Josh, I don't know about this in Nevada, but I'm not sure how many refineries there are in Nevada. Now, if there is a refinery in Nevada, they're probably trucking it in from somewhere, right? I don't know that. I last time I was in Nevada. Now, there are some people, especially now in California, where we've got a lot of shysters out there, and tragedy brings out the scammers. But I don't think there's any ports in Nevada. I'm not sure, but there might be somebody trying to sell beachfront property out there, but I don't think there's any ports in Nevada. So they're certainly not getting, it might have to get trucked out there. Texas, yeah, they've got plenty of their own refineries and ports and drilling, and because they're in America, they allow that kind of stuff. So you see what the difference is in regulation. Now, it probably also has to do with you listen to our governor, and I try not to, but sometimes we have no choice.
Such an idiot.
Yes,
Such
he
an
is.
idiot.
So we listen to him, and they talk about price gouging. Now, do you think the oil companies are just gouging Californians? Because the rest of the country is significantly cheaper than we are. We're the only place you can go and get gas more expensive than California is Hawaii. And I think they have to, do they ship the oil in or the gasoline in? Because I don't know too many refineries or drilling rigs in Hawaii. But I digress. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Obviously, the big commentary right now. Yeah, Josh has a pipeline that goes from California from California. So it gets refined here, goes there. Now, being that they're in Nevada, they allow the gasoline, they allow the pipelines to work. Here in California, we're more concerned with a 6 little Delta smelt who, we just take our water and we put it into the Pacific Ocean. They won't let it go through the Delta and come down. If you've ever driven up Highway 5 in Central California, you'll see that there's what they call man-made dirt, because they don't, with what used to be before we got the Newsom administration and a couple others, we used to grow vegetables and crops all out there. But when they turned the water off, you need water for crops, you need water to fight fires, and the governor doesn't want water going through the state. So there you see it. I want to throw something else out there because I've seen this a lot. And ironically enough, if you are a Rams fan, and I am, tonight the Rams football game is going to be played at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. Irony of ironies, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, State Farm canceled 69,000 homeowners policies heavily in the Pacific Palisades area. And in the letters of cancellation, they referenced lack of brush management in the area. Lack of brush management. What just burned? All that brush out there. So, yes, President Trump in his first administration signed legislation to get water to come down from Oregon. They got plenty. It rains every day there. All the way down through the state of California and into Southern California. Yet, if you notice, we had a 117 million gallon reservoir that was empty. And since the canyon fires here in the Orange County, North Orange County area, we get something called, it's a very, very toxic process of getting rid of our brush. Yes, we bring in goats, and the goats won't roam free in these areas. And what do goats do? They eat. What do they eat? Anything that's not moving. So they clean up all the brush out here, and it doesn't take a whole long time for the goats to go through and clean up a lot of areas, and it's safe. Well, I guess they do let off some of the fumes that some people don't like, but by and large, it's an easy way of taking care of these things. Unfortunately, they didn't do that in Pacific Palisades, and now we are paying the price. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how much home equity have you gained? The answer might surprise you. how to get a repo off your credit. And we're going to learn some self-help, which might really be needed right now. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
As the economy slows, do you know anyone worried about job loss? At Siegel Lending Team, we offer the Home Select Loan. Think of it as a financial superhero cape for homeowners with good income and credit. It not only saves your home, but also throws a life ring to your credit score. Because who needs stress when you can have peace of mind? Let's secure your future with a smile. Visit rsrhomeselect.com. rsrhomeselect.com. NMLS 217037.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And before we get the Mortgage Minute, I do have to throw one additional item into the monologue from today. Did anybody listen to the press conference with Governor Newsom on Zoom and the president and vice president in the White House over the weekend? I listen to these things, and sometimes you just got to turn the news off. But the president said that the issue is not an issue of refilling fire hydrants. And he basically was scolding us and telling us we didn't know what we're talking about because they had to turn the electricity off that pumps the water to the fire hydrants. This is the same president that's telling us we need to run our entire lives off of electricity and get rid of gas everything. Gas heaters, gas cars, gas furnaces. I better get on track. The Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They just tell us the number you put into your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you, because we have them for free on our mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. But let's see what rates did on Friday. So the market was opened all day Friday. If you recall, we had a shortened day on Thursday for the memorial and for the burial from President Carter. But Friday rates locked. Conventional 30-year fixed up 7.002. Jumbo 30-year fixed down 6.99. FHA 30-year fixed up 6.641. VA 30-year fixed up 6.565. USDA 30-year fixed. That's the rural areas and generally no down payment, up 6.57. Now, be aware that those numbers all came out based on what was happening from the jobs report that came out. And the jobs report was not favorable. But what do we learn from the jobs report? What we're really learning right now is something I've been saying to you right along, is that the Federal Reserve really has no clue what they're doing, and the market doesn't have any faith in them. And I've
Such an
shared this
idiot.
over and over again, and I
Such an
get in arguments
idiot.
with people
Such
over
an
it.
idiot.
In 2021, the Federal Reserve said that inflation was transitory. So they did not raise interest rates when they could have controlled it at the beginning. They were wrong. In 2023, we start having problems in the economy. No one wants to mention it, but we've got data that shows it. The Fed did nothing, so the market adjusted accordingly. 2024, the Fed starts lowering interest rates, yet the long-term rates all start going up, saying the Fed's got it wrong again. And now we see that the interest rates are going up dramatically again, mortgage rates, because the Federal Reserve is behind the curve, and they're going to probably stop their reduction of interest rates this month. They probably won't lower them at the end of the month. And the problem is, where are the jobs? So we got a strong jobs report, but according to Danielle DiMartino Booth, who's a great, great economist, actually worked for the Federal Reserve in Dallas for 9 years. She came out and told us that the areas that the jobs are being created in are areas that are non-choice jobs. They're non-discretionary. Government hiring, healthcare, education. That's where the jobs are. If you don't have the jobs in manufacturing and construction, those are multiplier jobs. Because when somebody starts doing manufacturing and they do construction, you got truckers that are bringing those things in. You've got fuel. You've got all these other things that go with it. And we're not seeing that right now. Now, we do see that the mortgage-backed security right now is down 12 basis points, which means the rates I just told you are going to be increased again tomorrow when we see that. 10-year Treasury is flat right now. And the consumer surveys are telling us a completely different story than what the jobs numbers are telling us. The consumers are not as excited. So we're looking at the BLS jobs report showed a strong labor market, lots of job creation, unemployment rate falling from 4.2 to 4.1. The consumer surveys tell a different story. The University of Michigan survey, consumer expectations, showed that the share of those polled who see rising unemployment in the year ahead has skyrocketed from 32% in November to 40% in December, 50% in January. We last saw a number this high, April 2022. The corresponding share expecting a lower unemployment rate fell to a 4-month low of 16% from 23%. The gap between those who think that the unemployment rate is rising versus falling in the year ahead has expanded to 34%, which is right where it was back in December 2007 and January 2001 before that, both ahead of major crashes and recessions. Bottom line, this leads us to believe that the recent BLS jobs numbers may be susceptible to big revisions in the month ahead, as we have been accustomed to seeing. Additionally, in February, we're going to get the final data from the 2023 QCEW, which is expected to show that half the jobs we thought we created never happened. And if we see a combination of the two, it should help our mortgage-backed securities and yields move lower and change the Fed's tone. Hopefully. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that whenever you're thinking about mortgages, the mortgage market wants the opposite of what makes us feel good. Anytime the economy is bad, mortgages get better as far as the rates being lower. When the economy is good, mortgage rates go higher. So just be aware of that. It is the normal way things work. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. So let's bring in the light, a little light of sunshine. Amberly Lago is with us this morning, renowned speaker on grit, resilience, and human connection, inspiring others to find strength and joy through life's challenges. And there's no way when we booked this time, Amberly, that we could have known that the week before you came on, we're going to probably see some of the biggest challenges in many people's lives in Southern California. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. And yes, I have been in close contact with so many of my sober sisters and friends and people that I've adopted as family in California because I lived there for 31 years. And
And you got out.
I got out. A lot of the reason why is because of what you were sharing earlier on the show. So I could feel you. I feel you on that. But yeah, it's been heartbreaking. It's been devastating, but I know that there are absolutely ways to spark more joy in your life. And you know what? Joy is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of gratitude and of purpose. And so there are ways to spark joy, even despite pain or challenges or even tragedy.
So what I'd like you to do for us, because um, you know, so I don't know how many of our audience listened to you the last time you were on, but tell us a little bit about your personal story about difficult times in your life and how you able to, because it's not easy. It's only hearsay for somebody like me to talk to you and reshare your story, or my friend Erin, whose house burned down, and reshare her story. But you've got a firsthand story.
Well, yeah, and I'll never forget. So I was in a horrific motorcycle accident and was put in induced coma. When I woke up, I learned I had a 1% chance of saving my leg from amputation. And it took 34 surgeries to save my leg, months in the hospital, and thousands of hours of excruciating physical therapy. And I remember one day being in physical therapy, and my therapist had invited one of his friends who had had a similar accident. And they saved my leg. I am upright. I am barely walking. It wasn't pretty, but I was filled with joy. And I'm walking around the therapy place, smiling at everybody. And I'm like, look, I'm walking. And the guy that had come to meet me goes, "What's wrong with her? She is way too happy." And I thought in that moment, I intentionally choose to focus on being positive, optimistic, and spark more joy and do things that bring me joy. And, if I was focused on, oh, look at all these scars I have, or, oh, I'm not walking pretty, I can barely walk and it hurts, focused on the pain, I probably wouldn't have been smiling. I probably would not feel, I would probably be really sad. But I choose to build upon the joy by doing things, by focusing on what I can do instead of on focusing on what I can't do. And I think that's really important to just remember. And I think the whole gratitude part of it is, look, I still wake up every single day with excruciating pain because I was diagnosed with an incurable nerve disease as a result of the accident. And the first thing I do when I wake up is I get grateful because I wake up and I'm limping. I'm walking like 100-year-old cowboy. And I could sit there and go, oh, you know what? I can't even hardly walk. Maybe I just can't do this today. And so, how can you flip the switch and flip your mindset and start thinking of gratitude for what you can do? And I immediately think, I am so grateful that I'm not in the hospital. I'm safe. I've got a roof over my head. I can walk. I can get through the day. So I think it's important to practice these small, little, tiny things that may seem so simple, but they are incremental into sparking more joy in your life.
It's an amazing story, and I'm going to share a couple others when we come back because I want to throw that into the mix when people start thinking about, something poor me. I'm going to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Alyssa. Appreciate you being here with us. Florida and California seem to be this endless cycle. Yeah, for sure. And Oasis, I think that's how you say it. Good morning. Thank you for being here with us as well. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. How much equity have you gained? The answer might surprise you. Have you ever stopped to think about how much wealth you've built up just from being a homeowner? As home values rise, so does your net worth. And if you've been in your house for a few years or longer, there's a good chance you're sitting on a pile of equity, maybe even more than you realize. What is home equity? It's the difference between what your house is worth and what you owe on your mortgage. For example, if your house is worth $500,000 and you still owe $200,000 on your home loan, you have $300,000 in equity. It's essentially the wealth you've built through home ownership. Right now, homeowners across the country are seeing record amounts of equity. According to Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, the average homeowner with a mortgage has $319,000. $319,000 in home equity. Ooh, I think.
Yippee!
Yeah. Why have homeowners gained so much equity? The rise in home equity over the years can be credited to two key factors. One, significant home price growth. Home prices have climbed dramatically in recent years. In fact, according to the Federal Housing Finance Agency, FHFA, over the past 5 years, home prices have risen by 57.4%. And if you're looking at us on a map that we've got on the screen right now, check out your neighborhood. This appreciation means your house is likely worth much more now than when you first bought it. Longer tenure in homes is the second reason. Data from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows people are staying in their homes for a decade. People are staying there longer. This increased tenure means homeowners benefit even more from home values growing over time. That's because the longer someone has lived in their house, the more that home's value has grown, which directly increases equity. And if you're one of those people who's been in their home for 10 years or more, know this. According to NAR, over the past decade, the typical homeowner has accumulated $201,600 in wealth solely from price appreciation. The benefits of having home equity, what does that mean for you? It means your house might be your biggest financial asset, and it could open up some exciting opportunities for your future. Let's break it down. Moving to your next home, your equity could help you cover the down payment for your next home. In some cases, it might even mean you can buy your next house all cash. Financing home improvements, thinking about upgrading your kitchen, adding a home office, or tackling other projects, your home equity can provide the funds to make those improvements happen, increasing your home's value and making it more enjoyable to live in too. Getting a business going. If you've been dreaming about starting your own business, your equity could be your kickstart you need. Whether it's for a startup cost, equipment, or marketing, leveraging your home's value can help bring your entrepreneurial goals to life. Bottom line, whether you're thinking about selling, upgrading, or simply want to understand your options, your home equity is a powerful resource. If you're wondering how much equity you've built or how you can use it to meet your goals, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And we've got ways of helping you use that equity. It's not that difficult if you've got a plan and you're talking to a certified liability advisor who does look at these things through the lens of safety, liquidity, and return. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation, we're talking with Amberly Lago this morning. And if you missed our last segment when Amberly was talking about gratitude and I don't know, maybe overcoming obstacles, maybe just dealing with the cards you're dealt. I've got a couple of friends of mine who follow the exact same discussion as Amberly. I have a friend who was diagnosed, I think it's 3 years ago now, with terminal cancer and given 90 days to live 3 years ago. And I sat down with her with lunch with another friend of mine who's been battling cancer for 8 or 9 or 10 years now. And she asked him, how do you deal with it? And he said, I get up every morning. I'm thankful that I woke up. I go out and I have the best day I possibly can and move on. And the power of positive thinking and prayer and gratitude, and they're both still with us.
That's
So
amazing.
Emily, your scenario is exactly what a lot of other people are seeing as well.
Well, thank you. And I'm happy to hear that because there is power in prayer. And the second thing I do when I get up and I say that I'm grateful, I actually drop down to my knees and say a prayer and just talk to my higher power, which I call God. And I get down on my knees because it reminds me that I'm so small and God is so big and God he's in charge and can take over so many of my worries or problems or anything. And so I think it's important to have something that is bigger than you that you can kind of let go of things and turn things over to. Not saying that you're not going to take action steps. But my grandfather used
Listen,
to always what my grandfather used to always say, you've got a shovel in your hand, you can pray for it and or pray for it and wish for a hole, or you can start digging. And I believe that, yes, for prayer, but you got to start digging. You got to get to work as well and take those action steps.
well, look what you're doing to help other people now, because God had a bigger, and I'm not the most religious person, but I certainly do believe in God, and I believe that we've all got a purpose, and God's given us that purpose. And look at the platform that I say that about myself, not bragging or anything, but I was given the opportunity to do a radio show 15 years ago, and you can either use that platform for good or you can use that platform for evil.
Mhm.
And people say, well, where does a discussion of gratitude and journey and things like you're talking about fit into home and finance? And I said, it has everything to do with it, right?
Well,
Because
believe it or not, my next two big speaking gigs are for mortgage companies.
doesn't
So,
surprise me.
I mean, but I never would have imagined. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I never would have imagined that I would have that opportunity. But I always think, how can I be of service? And having a purpose has what has pulled me out of and still pulls me out of going through losing my job, $2.9 million worth of medical expenses, and at one point we had a lien on our house, and now I am so blessed and so proud to say that we own two homes. And so I think that when you're grateful, you stay humble and you stay hungry and you focus on how can you be optimistic and have a positive mental attitude and outlook and just go out there and be of value. That's where fulfillment really lies, is when you can be of service to others and their success. I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. So one of your big discussions is obviously joy. I see the book in the background there that you've got, and we're going to talk about your book in a bit. But joy through journey. Tell me, what does that mean to you?
Well, honestly, life got really good with my work and my business. And I have to say, I was gritting it all out. I was in the grind. I was working, at 14, 16, 18-hour days sometimes. And I started letting the joy kind of escape for my life. I let go of my non-negotiables, my daily ritual, and before long, I was I was feeling burnout. I was feeling unfulfilled. I was feeling tired. I was going to the ER. And I thought, something's got to stop. I've always been a joyful person. And so I thought, I need to like do a self check and start to incorporate more joy into my life. And so I set out on a mission to do joy spotting, which go out and find things that bring you joy, whether that's out in nature, whether it's hearing a song or doing a dance or being around your favorite people. And how can you be a joy sparker? Meaning, how can you cause a ripple effect in the world and go light up every room that you're in and bring more joy to the people around you?
I think I do that by just people laughing at me.
Well, you know what? I was laughing backstage at some of the things that you were saying.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I don't know whether they're laughing at what I'm saying or laughing at me, but either way, maybe it brings some joy.
You definitely do. And I love all your sound effects. I was laughing at those too.
Well, sometimes people get tired of listening to me. So
No.
how do you shift that mindset? How do you go from the tragedies and it'll be very simple for somebody like you that's got your experiences. You get up in extreme pain all the time. How do you shift that mindset to saying, okay, it's part of life and I'm going to take it to the next level?
Well, that is such a great question. People think, oh, well, you're just a positive, motivated person all the time. And I am not. I am not always positive. You can ask my husband. I intentionally work on it. And it's a habit, it's a practice that you can build upon. And it's just like strengthening your resilience. But you have to work on it like a muscle. You can't go to the gym once and think that, oh, well, I'm just going to be strong and have great biceps forever. It's like, no, you got to intentionally work on it every single day. And in fact, I just did a post on Instagram today about that I decide that I want to have a better day. And we have the choice. And once we realize we have a choice, we take our power back. But it's really getting into these daily practices of what brings you joy, what fills your cup, what nourishes you, what are the things that are going to inspire you, and not just the things that you're doing, but the people around you. So that's why I say it's so important to set boundaries, say no to the things that drain you, and also to the people who drain you.
That's a big issue right there, is making sure that you get that stinking thinking out and get rid of those people that are bringing you down. And you almost had me fall off my chair here when you talked about the gym, because I was told if I joined the gym, I'd look great, and I joined and not a darn thing happened. They never told me I had to go, but that was a whole different story. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Amberly Lago. We're going to chat with her. We're going to probably throw out our Borrow Smart segment. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Quite simply, the best home loan on the market if you want to build wealth. And I'm not going to go into it a lot. If you want more information, just go to rsrhomeselect.com. We're going to continue our conversation. Amberly Lago is with us. We're going to talk about her book, but holy cow, I just saw a comment here from Alyssa Reichert. And I don't know if I pronounced her last name properly, but what a story.
Oh,
That is, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I have it on the screen there if somebody wants to pause and see it. Just amazing story. But tell us about your book, Amberly.
oh, well, thank you. And yes, that was an amazing. I was looking at her comment, trying to comment back on it. Yeah, it's joy through the journey. Shift your mindset, embrace the present moment, and cultivate resilience amidst life's ups and downs. And there are ways to shift your mindset to spark more joy, and getting intentional about as soon as you have that negative thought or that soundtrack going through your head, because I'm guilty of it, or that the inner critic that's talking loud and mean, that you can shift that, you can change that soundtrack. Being in the present moment, I think so many of us are worried about the past or anxious about the future. I know I've been there. So what can you do to be more mindful and get you in the present moment? I know for me, even at night, I will listen to a guided meditation just to kind of stop and get back centered into my body. I also do a brain dump, and that's why I have a million little notes on my desk, and I brain dump before I go to bed. So I can be in the present moment, and gratitude at night as well. So I have my gratitude practice in the morning. I also have it at night. And being grateful and thinking about the positive before you go to bed, it really sets you up for success the following day. And then how to cultivate resilience. Well, I think that resilience and momentum and joy go hand in hand. And so by setting up, your daily ritual, that what is your non-negotiable? For me, it is my gratitude practice. It's prayer. It's drinking my gut health drink. It's moving my body. I think moving your body moves your mood. And I think so many of us, when we're in pain, we want to a lot of people don't want to move. They feel stuck. And I will say just a quick thing is we just recently lost our dog, who was my therapy dog. And it was very unexpected. And I intentionally thought, what can I take from this book that are some practices? Because I could not stop crying. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do something that brings me joy. So we put our Christmas tree up, which I think we put it up earlier than we've ever put it up any year. But I was like, okay, I'm still feeling like, and it wasn't like I wasn't acknowledging my feelings. I just wanted to stop crying. I just wanted a little bit more joy. I intentionally was like, okay, I'm going to go outside because we need connection. And I went to Home Goods because I wanted to see strangers and smile at them and just see them smile at me back. And that brought me such joy. And so we're not meant to do hard things alone. Connection is key. Community is powerful. And I think something that's been seen in what I've learned a lot and what's going on in the LA area right now is there are communities that are coming together. And so that makes my heart sing just to hear that. So those few things are definitely parts of my book, but there are actionable parts where you can take it and take action immediately to spark more joy into your life.
Something, I think that's great guidance right now, especially as you said, Southern California TV, shame on you. You should be listening to us on radio. But we're getting wall-to-wall coverage of these fires, and there are some positive stories out there, but for the most part, it's very, very negative. I mean, I look at what's happening, and I don't know if you've seen any coverage around the country. Santa Anita Racetrack has been opened up, and there's the entire area there, and I don't know how it's massive, but it's one big donation center.
Mm-hmm.
And that 3,000 people went out there and volunteered just to give away things to people who have lost it all.
Mm-hmm.
We think about, we're going to give somebody a pair of shoes that we don't want. They don't even know where they're going to get a toothbrush. So seeing something like that is a major joy. I had a chiropractor that mentioned to me, hey, go out to the beach and take your shoes off and just walk in the sand and get grounded. And
That's excellent. That's excellent. I used to love to do that. And now I don't have the beach, but you know what I did is when my dog passed is I took my shoes off and walked around the yard just to get grounded.
yeah, people don't realize how strong that is and how much benefit you can get from that. So it looks like on a note here, it says you created a companion book to go with your book.
Well, yes, I created several bonuses when people pre-order my book, and it was funny because my husband had seen me writing this book for so long, and then he saw me writing again, and he's like, "I thought you were done with your book," and I'm like, "Well, no, I want to give them a companion book that they can take and write down and journal and take action steps." And so, yes, it's a companion book that goes along with Joy Through the Journey. And so when you pre-order, you get the companion book, and there's also other bonuses there. But yeah, and I love that you said getting grounded because I think that's important. I also think it's important to get some sunshine.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? So where we started our conversation had a lot to do with spirituality and God's gift to us and God's plan for us. And now we've come full circle that God created those of us that believe the earth and the sand and where we're walking out, as you mentioned, outdoors, the sunshine. So it's kind of taken us in a full circle. We don't have a lot of time left, but do you have a key message for us to remember about finding joy in life?
Yes, I would say more than anything that reach out to somebody and create a community. Like I said, I've been closely connected to my sober sisters, and we've all been so grateful that we can be so positive. And they're all in LA, and some of them have been evacuated. But we're doing it together, and that we have each other and we can support each other. So it's so important to get connected with a community, whether that's with your church, whether that's with your sobriety community, whether that is with other entrepreneurs, but get around positive, inspiring, supportive people, and don't do it alone. We need to come together more than ever right now.
Well, there's no. I think we need a sound effect, Josh, for a mic drop. That's about the best thing that we could possibly take away from your conversation. Joy Through the Journey is the name of the book. Amberly Lago is the author. I guess a website, Amberly?
Yes. Well, if you want to get the free bonuses, go to go.amberlylago.com/joy, and you can see all the free bonuses. And I'll also be having a book club, so super excited. And I'll also be announcing where the book tour is going to be. So hopefully I'll get to see some of you in your city soon. But yes, go.amberlylago.com/joy.
Awesome. Go get the book and get the goodies that go with it. And the book will make a real good paperweight, but it's even better if you open it, read it, and practice. So appreciate you coming on, especially at a time like this when so many people in Southern California really are suffering, and we could use some joy.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.